Hello, peace. Can y'all hear me?
Hello, yes, we
Oh,
can
yes,
hear
we
you.
can hear you. Okay, perfect.
Yes, Anita, I can.
Welcome, welcome. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm on my laptop, um, which is not a bad thing. It's just my speaker blew on my laptop, so I'm using an external speaker, so I'm really nervous about the audio. But thank you for joining this week's Hip Hop Congress Weekly Call. Mic check-in 2026, whatever today's date is. What is it, April 11th? Yeah, thank you for all for joining. Sorry, I'm trying to get out of a outside mode. I was just outside with my plants. So I was like, oh my gosh, it's time for the call. Um, but welcome to the call. The rhythm of the call is we do mic check-ins. Tell us your name, where you're from, how you learned about Hip Hop Congress and your work in your community and your part of the world. Um, Wherever that may be. And this is also for the replays, for those who are not aware. Every Hip Hop Congress call starting this year, 2026, is recorded and posted to YouTube on our Hip Hop Congress YouTube page. So please go to our Hip Hop Congress YouTube page, and that is where you will see all the replays for Hip Hop Congress mic check-in for 2026 and forward. So all of them are posted up and through last week. I try to make sure they are current and get there as soon as I can when I am available. And for those that don't know, my name is Anita T. I'm one of the executive committee directors, or executive, yeah, that's right, executive director committee members. There we go. Executive director committee members for Hip Hop Congress. I'm based in Austin, Texas. And with the rhythm of what we do here, we do a check in. Keep your check in to about 3 minutes. Let us again your name, where you're from, what you do, and yeah, we can go ahead and get it kicked off. So, with that said, Lisa, do you want to take it away? Pass the mic to you.
Okay, that sounds like a great idea. Let me pull this up and see if I look decent. Ha ha. No, it's Saturday afternoon. How can I look decent on a Saturday afternoon? Okay. Um, well, the weeks are getting increasingly busy. I've yet to be getting paid for any of this work that I'm doing, so I'm constantly broke. um, I know I'll survive. It's just the mess that's going to be on the other side when things finally start coming through. And it's been a long wait, but I was invited into a meeting at the last minute earlier today, which was actually at the same time as another meeting. And I had to let them know, guys, sorry. It's really tough to do pickup on me. It just doesn't work. Um, but I was there for a few minutes and that was good. So it I can prepare to have it happen again because it does mean that things are moving forward. The legal paperwork is, well, from what I've been told, all but signed, but I imagine there's probably other steps in there. But I know once all that's done and registered, a whole bunch of other things are going to begin, and I cannot wait. Neither can any of the other people that I'm working with. So be that as it may, my life is, yeah, still constant meetings. Um, but I'm really happy to see things start to spread because, it means that others are, they're picking up their pace. They're realizing that what we're doing is important to everybody. And I'm starting to work on that. Um, I've started bit by bit to lay the groundwork for internal administration with this organization. Just a little piece at a time where people start to see this is a seed of something else that's growing. Um, how it turns out, I don't know because, when you have huge collaborations like this, it's a piece of everybody. that's in there that gets involved, because the only kind of people that get into these things are the people who are really hungry for them, to see them happen, to watch things grow. Um, I am looking forward to a number of things happening over the next 6 months. Not that they're going to stop, but yeah, they'll be there. I'm looking forward, especially to being able to pay all my own bills. That would be nice. Although I'm very, very fortunate. I'm one of those people who has someone who sponsors some of the harder stuff. Um, and I know how lucky I am. I'm incredibly lucky, especially in times like this. But, you know, it's, well, it is what it is. Um, in terms of cultural activities, I met someone today who wanted to be a partial sponsor of a huge site online, all about dance, of course. They've got like a couple hundred members, which means that getting through to any of them is next to impossible, because they all know each other, sort of, kind of, and well, and also because they're all performers. Well, performers tend to believe that eventually someone's going to come up to them and say, "You're wonderful. Here, sign this any amount you want." I think we've all had a little bit of that dream. So yeah, it takes a while. Um, and the rest of it is just my own trying to keep up with everything that's being done. And trying to see what parts of me I can replicate with other people that have been working on this as well, so that this next phase starts to set up what will be very visible as a pattern of growth that will simply repeat, 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 in terms of how things get departmentalized, and how we maintain um, control over all the information that we're getting in. And of course, dealing with all these partners who kind of whoosh in and whoosh out. Um, and of course, they never give you advance notice. It's just you get about 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, we're having a meeting and we need to have you here. Well, I'm in another meeting. But no, the hardest part about all this is just worrying about what's going to happen to everybody you're working with the next day. Um, there's still a lot of really awful things that are going on in bits and pieces. I know that this is what we see lots of times when hostilities between opposing parties, and it's not like shutting a door. It's like, watching the outgoing tide. There's still a lot of stuff that occurs. And that's exactly 100% true. And while we're sitting here in this critical mass section, waiting for the bureaucracies to get their acts together and do what they say they're going to do, which will have us feeling like, oh, we're successful. We can do this. We can get this done. Um, yeah, people are kind of snapping at others in bits and pieces. I confess I've done it too. But sometimes you don't get noticed unless you jump up and down and say, me, 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 me. So, with that, everything's still moving forward. I know that I'm not going to starve because I'm old enough to get into all the programs to make certain I get fed. The rest is negotiable. And I'm looking forward to getting more in touch with some of the other hip hop groups that I've met with, so we can start talking about not so much coming together as to what parts of the whole that we ourselves are uniquely balanced to deal with, because I think I think Anita is going to agree with me. This is what we found more often than anything else. that we're like, how can we figure our way around this? And then someone shows up and they're like, oh, I've been doing this all my life. Let me take this and make the answer for you. Great, wonderful. So we are getting the serendipity bit where that does happen. People walk in and they just fall into a place that is a space just perfectly the size for them. And other people are starting to see some of the same vision that we have for what's happening, and they're taking up that charge. Um, I think what we'll be seeing mostly in the next 6 months for every single one of us is one of our groups, if not two or three, starting to pull up their media campaigns. So this is going to start seeping out in little bits and pieces until all of a sudden people are going, whoa, looks like the tide's going up. Got all this stuff going on about culture and hip hop and all these guys who are looking in the same direction. Mm. But yeah, I know, pie in the sky. So as for my own life, everything is still a mess. I don't think that that's going to be going away soon. I know it needs to be done, but I'm getting to that age where I can't do it all myself. And I can't afford anybody yet, so we're getting there. So let me see who's here. I bet it's more than there was a few minutes ago. All right. Yep, we got six. Aha. Aha. Mr. DeFranco, are you available to talk?
I am. I'm in line at a grocery store currently, but yeah, I'm here. I'm tapped in. Um, Update wise, still working on this Korean cultural cross cultural event with Fresh from LA Breakers. Still trying to lock in either UCLA or USC, which I've been finding a little bit difficult. I was gonna ask Rockman if he still had any connections at USC. Just trying to get this done. Um, it's an event that's happened in the past and with some Korean organizations out here in LA. So it could be, really good potential as an event. So yeah, just working on that. What else? Everything else, our family nonprofit. Actually heading to Hawaii on Tuesday for about a week. My wife's birthday was on Wednesday, and mine is May 3rd. So we're gonna go kind of in the middle. And yeah, I'll see if I can cultivate another chapter out there. My brother does live out there. He's a retired military, lives out there with his family. He did graduate from U of H, so I don't know. I'll see, but I'm sure there's background noise. I don't know how great y'all can hear me. I love y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic. I see Prism just popped in, so I'll go ahead and pass it to him. Love y'all, and go from there. Peace.
Peace, family was good. I'm actually out and about too. Can y'all hear me all right?
Yes.
Like this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on as usual. And I'm not sure if you mentioned or if you heard or some of you haven't, Africa Bambaataa passed away. So it's a little bit of a mixed time in the feelings right now. But yeah, we're here and still doing the work. I've been connecting with brothers for the past couple of days all over the world about it, and actually have two meetings tomorrow in regards to it for different regions of the world. So that's where I'm at right now. But wanted to check in with y'all. So I'm not sure who hasn't gone yet, but so what I got for the moment. Peace.
Ramen hasn't gone. Will's Wilson and Tristan.
I'll pass it to Wilson. Peace.
Wilson, welcome to the Conference Call. If you could come off mute, what Prism just did was pass you the mic, so it is your turn to speak. If you can, let us know where you're from, where you're involved with hip hop. Um, Hello?
I went to the golf and said, "Keep to the world."
Yo,
I've been to.
was it?
I said,
Okay.
Hey,
Was my
Rob,
mic?
I'll pass it to you then.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you tried to pass it to me before. I am currently waiting for these snacks to kick in. My blood sugar dropped pretty low right now. Um, and so if I missed it, that might have been why. But what up? Mike is in the house. I'm most likely going to pass it to you next, but after my update, things have been cool. Working with finished up some of these funding proposals, and hey, baby, daughter's just getting out of the album class right now. I'm on the call right now. Do you want to say hi to everybody in Hip Hop Congress? um, but uh, but yeah. Interesting things happened this last week. We do have our next event coming up on April 18th, next Saturday. It's going to be another community event, watch party with the wrestling. Um, Moving into some interesting spaces. Finally got invited to the Silicon Valley Community Fund, which is one of the major funds that we've applied for and never gotten. Check under the chair. Right here. Um, and we got invited by staying on top of them because we reach out to people to try to get them to come to your space so they can see what you're actually doing, not just reading applications and whatnot. But everybody's, it's like you really got to just stay on top of folks. But anyways, I got the invite back, and they were actually asking for some case studies on how you can improve, how nonprofits can improve their stability in times of uncertainty. And so just expecting to put myself in front of these people to be like, look, this is what's going on. Like folks don't have the relationship between nonprofits and the funders themselves, and you're doing cultural work that's outside of the experience or familiarity of some of these funders is a barrier that needs to be addressed. You got the nonprofit industrial complex where folks with similar missions are competing for these fundings instead of working together. I just had that experience in the last couple of days with that, where one of our neighboring, one of the neighbors down the street from us, they serve kids. They have an after-school program. We were giving them basically free wrestling classes while we set up an MOU since like last October. We're basically teaching their kids for free to develop a relationship to get our space made and more families put together an MOU, but uh, it ended up not really being equitable. And so when we started uh, losing students in the last, earlier this year, that forced us to be like, yo, we can't really do this for free anymore. What can we work out? Um, when those conversations started happening, mommy went to the dojo to get some sugar for daddy, so she'll come back. Yeah, we can go downstairs and wait for him. But basically, it just kind of turned out that like as soon as I shifted the conversation to something more equitable for us, rather than just giving them stuff for free, they kind of switched up on us. The teacher said that he was going to tell you something. Oh, okay. Well, all right. So basically like going through that, um, you know, uh,
so that the Losado?
Oh, okay, yeah. I can find out next time. Um, so, anyways, it's just the politics, right? Um, among nonprofits and basically we're like, we have been when they told us like, oh, we can't pay for your program. Uh, let's put it on pause until we get a budget. I went and started writing these things writing to different proposals to get the budget for it so we could, get paid for it. And then they come back with like, you didn't have authorization to include us in your proposals. It's like, what? Like, what? Like, where is this coming from? Like, you can't pay us. So we're going to go get paid for, so we can continue serving the kids. And then they were like, well, you shouldn't frame it like we canceled the class. And it was like, but you did. Like, we were, going to continue. We didn't want to stop serving your kids over some administrative budget thing because, we're about the community. You paused it because you didn't want to come up with the money. And then now you're telling us we can't come up with the money without, you know, approval. And anyways, it was just like, and we had an MOU in place too to avoid all of this, and they went against their own MOU. So just that type of politics stuff happened, and so navigating that. Well, I'm going to use it as a case study in this other event that's happening at the end of the month. Got my high shoes. To kind of address this because we're in the richest county, the most culturally diverse, apparently. Um, and yet people are still uncertain and in the scarcity mindset. It's like we shouldn't be in a scarcity mindset, especially here in this county. The problem is you got gatekeepers that create that scarcity. And I guess the bar that I came up with was uncertainty emerges when a culture of wealth determines the value of culture itself. And so on that bar, I will pass it to Mike Word. But I also just want to say that while we still have a couple, we do have a meeting tomorrow for the executive committee to discuss the next round of grants, which I believe is California Arts Council. So Tina should have put the word out about that. On the other tip, we have Maurice working on the newsletter. Our newsletter is going to be shifting over to MailChimp. It's not really anything that folks need to worry about, but it will be going out. We'll be teaming with Hip Hop Education Center. That's more XCOM stuff we can discuss, but look for a newsletter coming out when we get all of that stuff squared away. The good news is that we'll be uh, people will be able to opt in to 3 different newsletters, namely HHCU, Hip Hop Congress, and Hip Hop Education Center. And that opt-in page is going to go out to all of the contacts, and that's like the 800 that we have, the 200 that HHCU has, with the 8,000 that HHEC has. And so we should be getting the word out to a lot more people. But HHCU is still developing in that regard. But we will, for the newsletter, need everybody to opt in again. But we're trying to streamline it so you can just check off which boxes you want to receive a newsletter from. But that's going to be important so the emails don't get bounced back and everything. So, anyways, that's one of the things we can update. We'll be updating on and keep you posted. All right, Mike Word, what's going on, brother? Excited to hear how you're doing. Thanks for being here.
Peace, cousin.
Yeah, man.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Word. Peace, everybody. I'm giving you an update. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm like, by luck of the draw, I saw the post about today's call. A lot of times I'm running around right now, but today I was at home, so I was able to tap in. I you know me, I'm still just pushing the cultural events mixed with wellness and ecological stewardship design ideas. I just got done going down a mountain community in southern Colorado and facilitate some ecological design workshops and doing a festival. We do this festival called Fresh Mode Fest. It's really just me, but some of my folks tap in with me sometimes and want to like leverage the energy of what I've been doing with this Fresh Mode Fest thing for the last 2 years. And so my friend Elsa tapped in with me, and she homesteads down in the mountains, southern Colorado, and this town called Crestone. I built a couple houses in the area before, like eco houses. So we did a little hip hop festival with ecological design and health and wellness components to the gathering. And it was a mountain thing, so it was a little smaller, but it was probably about 50 to 100 people that circulated through the space. You know, talked about not only the cultural stuff that we delve into, but like ecological sciences and design systems, and just really, I think the big thing that I'm coming on lately. I've always kind of been on it, but I'm developing more material to present and facilitate conversations around how the financial realm. The financial realm is a derivative of the natural world. Literally, it's a derivative of the natural world. It's a watered down version of nature. The financial systems of the world, capitalism, all of them, um, all the banking, banking terms are all pulled from nature, and all the concepts. And with that, having that understanding of finances is for me personally, it's empowering to know that even the financial world comes out of the natural world, and it's not separate from it, which kind of has been like, I think, a big challenge for us. That bar you spit, Rod, that was, it's kind of that game that is getting played on us. Will you spit that bar one more time?
I said, uncertainty emerges when a culture of wealth determines the value of culture itself.
There you go. Culture of wealth determines the value of culture itself. Um, those cultures of wealth that you're talking about that are trying to determine value itself. Those are literally cultures that came out of nature, and they've been kind of, it's been framed that it's like separate, and it's been framed that way to disempower the stewards of nature, which is us so-called humans. And so that's why we're doing the Fresh Mo Fest thing, and really doing my best to get the conversation going around how money is nature also. And if we're the stewards of nature, then we steward money the same, just the same. And it's not something that's supposed to be held from us, or kept kept a barrier up from us stewarding. And so that's kind of been the thing that I've been on for a big. That's just kind of my big movements. And then like some side quest challenges that I'm coming across. Um, it's the same. It's kind of always been the same thing. So I'm looking hopefully to evolve past this challenge sooner than later. But it's the so I have groups that support what I'm doing, and other people that are active doing stuff in the community that are
Mhm.
supportive to certain capacities, like Hip Hop Congress. Hip Hop Congress. I don't know who. I think it might be Nita or somebody that's keeps keeps a finger on the pulse of what I'm doing out here. And but then what I'm noticing is the people that are out here, other event promoters and just other cultural organizers. It's like it's still this like weird competitive thing going on. That's I don't know. It's making me want to just do what I did a few years ago, where I kind of I turned away from curating events and being such an active cultural organizer for the same damn reasons that I'm like up against again and kind of dealing with again with this finding strategic partnerships that don't see me as a strategic partnership. So but it's like, so I don't, that's kind of been some of my challenges that I bring to this group to, I don't know, whatever can be figured out around things like that. Cause I know, if somebody, if there's a organization that has, that could be a good strategic partnership, but they don't know that they are, or they don't see themselves in that same light with your organization, then what do you do? What do you do around that? And especially when you're both organizations are so active, and one is attempting to you know fold arms with each other, hold hands with each other, and the other is avoidant and trying to do it all on their own and not really utilize the collective energy that we could be having going on. So I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how to navigate that still to this day. And do I just be like, okay, you don't see the value in the partnership on any level, then I got to keep it moving, which is what I've been doing. But I can't, I can't ignore these other organizations that are in the spaces that I'm in. And a big part of my argument the last few months and years has been that people that are in the same niches, organizations and movements that are in the same niches are not, it's not a detriment to their movements and what their efforts are to, to big up and to bring awareness to other organizations and movements that are doing similar work in the same, even in the same niche. It's like it actually is, it increases all of our opportunities when we support each other's efforts. And I just been struggling to get support, from similar organizations in my local ecosystem, cultural ecosystem, to like really get this thing that I got going on really up and moving. So it's like it's still just me, you know, doing most of the organizing, and that's not realistic. It's not just me. So I don't know, y'all. That's my thoughts. That's where I've been at. Hopefully, I wasn't too long winded or boring. Put everybody to sleep. So
Mike, I want to circle back to all those points that you made. I know we got a lot more people that are to check in, but let's definitely circle back because I've been going through the exact same thing, bro.
yep,
Wait, can you hear me?
Yep.
yep.
DJ Alicia, she reached out on the in the messages. I don't know if you know her.
Alicia B.
Yes, she was talking about you a lot.
Yeah, we
Yep.
know Alicia. I know Alicia since she was like 16 years old.
Yeah, she interested in doing hip hop congress. So it might be worthwhile to reach out maybe. And yeah, Ramen, she was talking about you too. I
Yeah.
meant to, but I forgot. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's dope. That she's still in the mix and everything. Yeah, she's a long time hip hop Congress fan. Um, but yeah, this is a important topic for all of us to address because
Mhm.
you just literally narrated the experience I had this week. It's that I was speaking on when it comes to organizations working together, and the nature of Hip Hop Congress being a network organization. Like, we're not just one organization out for self. We're like, our mission is to connect other organizations, and they may not be seeing the economy in that same way of, being stronger together, having abundance when you work together. We still got that scarcity mentality in the world that a lot of people still function from. So that's part of the work too. Um, but that's a rabbit hole that we should go down once we hear from everybody, because we want to give everybody time to check in as well, because we will probably get lost in that. But
Sorry.
yeah, Mike, you want to? No, it's good, because this is what it is. But you get to pass the mic to anybody that hasn't checked in yet. So I believe that Brian did his check in on the chat. Brian, thank you for that. Um, we shared something on Facebook that is like a voting for Hip Hop Congress. That was something that Brian brought to our attention. So if you guys look at that or following on that, go ahead and share that, or put in a vote for Hip Hop Congress on that, so that can be directed back to Motivate a Mindset. But we haven't heard from Chevelle, Honor. We called out Wilson, but didn't hear from him. Who else hasn't checked in, Anita?
If you
Tristan?
don't mind, I'll do my check-in real quick.
All right, for sure.
What up, though, everybody from Detroit, man? Chevelle Crawford, representing Detroit Great Lakes chapter for Michigan. Glad to be in the room. Um, that the conversation around collaboration and the spirit of collaboration is one of the reasons we're excited to be a part of Hip Hop Congress. And in some of my experience with nonprofit, there are been where the um, funders and foundations who provide funding to nonprofits, they are looking now for that collaboration as a part of your motto, part of your mission, part of your framework in order to support you. So they're looking for the coalition approach to community activism and support for youth development and ageism and other things that we're working so hard to try to combat, or at least try to support. So that spirit of collaboration, I think, is something that we need to hang our hat on, and that's one of the reasons we're here. So, quick check in. We're doing well here. As far as the chapter is concerned, we're still in the organization phase, so we're still trying to put a lot of things together and making sure that we got all of our important roles filled. And besides that, on the personal front, I am about a week away, 2 Mondays from now on 420. I'm debuting my premiere motion picture. It's a romantic comedy. We're calling it a comedic love story. It's inappropriately titled "Boss Shit." That's the kind of play on words, because people think of boss shit as being something that you're doing, that you're bossing up in the streets, or you're doing something super gangster. And really, the sense of this film talks about bossing up and really starting that young family, and really taking responsibility for each other as a community, is beginning with that family unit. So I'm looking forward to it, excited about it. We actually did a big screen a screening on the big screen here a couple of days ago. Things looked great, sounded great. So I'm really looking forward to how people will respond to it. And then shortly after that, we're either going to do a short run of theaters, and then shortly after that, we're going to be on some streaming platforms. So we look forward to sharing it with everybody, and look forward to you guys seeing it in the near future. To table it, or to pass the mic, I'm going to go ahead and tennis this to has Tristan already spoken?
Not yet.
So I'll go ahead and pass it to Tristan then. Thank you so much, Anita.
Yes, I've already signed in the chat.
Okay, he already checked in the chat. All right, so what about let's see.
Gone.
Honor, is Honor gone?
Yeah. Honor, can you unmute and check in, please?
Thanks again, guys. Glad to be here.
Thanks, Chevelle. Honor, can you check in?
Uh, yeah, I'm Wilson.
Oh, yeah, Wilson.
Yeah, I'm a coordinator for IDPED platform for disability, but I'm not able to speak well English, but I speak French. I'm in Kavu, DRC,
Pas de
South
problème.
Kivu.
Monsieur Wilson, pas de problème. Vous pouvez vous exprimer même en swahili ou en français. Je suis là pour interpréter, pas de souci.
Ok, merci beaucoup.
Mm.
Je suis Wilson Baliano Mwanzi Ziganira. Je
I'm
suis le
Wilson.
coordonnateur de la plateforme IDPED.
I'm the
C'est
coordinator
une
of
plateforme
the platform.
de personnes en situation de handicap et autres vulnérables.
So
Alors,
it's a
nous
platform
œuvrons,
which takes care of people with disabilities.
nous œuvrons dans plusieurs domaines. Nous sommes, nous avons beaucoup d'associations, euh, donc OPH, qui œuvrent dans notre plateforme. Alors, ici chez nous, nous avons
So
tant de difficultés qui
we
nous
are a
bloquent de pouvoir.
multi-sectorial platform. So we do work in different sectors, and we do have different associations that work with us. And as you know, here we do have several difficulties. Oui, monsieur. Continue.
euh, Souvent, nous nous bloquons dans plusieurs problèmes. Vous voyez, tantôt nous avons besoin d'un accompagnement. Euh, mais avant tout, je suis très ravi de me retrouver dans cette rencontre qui a été organisée, que je me suis retrouvé avec Madame Lisa à partir de son lieu. Alors, c'est à cause de ça que je viens de m'exprimer en félicitant tout le monde qui sont dans cette réunion et avoir aussi le souci de pouvoir songer à cette catégorie de personnes qui se trouvent ici chez nous parce que nous avons tant de choses à faire, mais à cause de cette difficulté-là, bon, nous sommes un peu limités. Vous voyez, dans notre organisation ou plateforme, il
Oui,
y a
je
des
peux interpréter
femmes.
d'abord, monsieur.
Il y a des
Je peux
femmes.
interpréter d'abord. Si vous continuez, je vais perdre tout ce que vous êtes en train de dire. As you know, we are facing here many problems, and what we lack to have it's just assistance. And apart from that, I'm so happy to attend this meeting. I got the link through Lisa's WhatsApp status, and I say thank you. Thanks to everyone here. Oui, monsieur, continuez.
OK.
Tout en me laissant les
Nous
interpréter.
souhaitons un jour que vous puissiez arriver ici chez nous pour voir ce que nous sommes en train de faire. Parce que quand je présente Madame Lisa dans notre organisation, tout le monde se sent beaucoup à l'aise et accompagné un jour, être accompagné par tous les participants ou bien par les gens qui vivent en Europe, au Canada, aux États-Unis et autres. Hein? Si une fois vous organisez un jour même un renforcement des capacités, pour nos membres, ils peuvent être aussi, ils peuvent se sentir beaucoup accompagnés par vous. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Honor has her hand up. Honor.
Yes,
Here.
madam.
Go ahead,
Nashukuru
Anna.
sana. Nawasalimu nyinyi nyote.
Go ahead, Anna. Tristan, you want to? Oh, I don't know if Tristan is still here. He may have dropped. Anna, you can try in English or we can circle back if Tristan pops back in and he can translate.
Yeah, that's likely what he'll do. He'll circle back.
Okay. All right. Why don't we go to Maurice? He's got his hand up.
All right, peace, blessings, everybody. Um, we're doing check-ins, or you guys passed that?
No, we're still checking in.
All right,
So
cool. So yeah, man, so 30 years ago, I started working with this syndicalese hip hop group, Kobe System. About 30 years ago. Wow, it's crazy. It's been a long time. We've done a lot of stuff. Um, and there's this artist that they was working with, Fatah El Presidente. He's really big in Ghana. I got to meet him last night finally. Um, and he was showing me this video that he did with Busta Rhymes on hip hop culture and the origins of Africa. And posted on my TikTok and stuff like that. And so we was talking about doing this international, and you know what, I brought the issue up years ago about doing an international compilation. So now it becomes their idea. And Pop asked me a couple months ago. He says, "Hey man, you want to produce this project that we're doing?" I'm like, "Man, no, absolutely not. I don't have the money. I don't have no." He was like, "So last night I went over there." He says, "Brother, would you like to help produce this thing?" I was like, "What do you need me to do?" He goes, "Duh, duh, duh." I was like, "All right, cool. I'll
Nothing.
help." So, excuse me.
I'll keep going.
And so, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be working on connecting with different international artists and artists in the United States to bring them in on this project. I think they have like 8 different countries, 10 different countries already. Um, Gambia, um, obviously Senegal. Um,
Did we just lose
uh,
you? I just lost you.
no, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Now we can. I can.
Gambia, Nigeria, Senegal, et cetera, et cetera. And so, Rockman, I'd like to sit and talk with you and connect Hip Hop Congress to this project. And years ago, I think we talked about this, but it's back on the table now. And
Well, it's
so,
funny. Real quick, Maurice, and I'll pass it back. Last week we talked exactly about this thing because one of the other folks on the call was like, "Let's put together a compilation of international artists." Because for some groups, like they got talent, but it's like getting the visibility out there. We have the network to give them that visibility. And so, yes, this is right on time. Like it's coming from all different angles. So we do have a Google Drive that we were creating. And Anita, maybe you want to throw that in the chat there. But we've been collecting. We have a folder where folks can put their work in for that compilation. So it's already kind of happening. We can work together as Hip Hop Congress. Bring, you know, we can
uh,
definitely talk.
and so what they're doing is so Mamadou. So when the artist wants to get on, Mamadou will send them the beat, and then they'll record over the beat, and then they'll send it back. And I'm not gonna say that they're not being picky or whatever like that. I'm not gonna say that they're not. But I'm gonna get more information and let you know. But bro, when I tell you they're dope, they're really dope. Um, they put, oh man, I can't even say her name. She's a famous Senegalese artist. Jolie. Um, I used to be able to say it now. I can't say it right now, but they perform with her. Um, Tribe Called Quest, Busta Rhymes. Um, a lot of big names over the years they've shared stages with. They've created festivals in Senegal. They've created businesses. They're working on building schools. They're doing a lot. And so, Yeah, we could talk about that. Um, I'm finally starting next month. The youth workshops and open mic will be started. Peace through education, acceptance, courage, and expression. Is the workshop I started years ago at Brookings School. Did it for like 12, 13 years without getting paid. Um, and so bringing it to make it Springfield from 12 to 5 on Saturdays. I'm connecting UMass. I'm connecting Amherst College. Um, I'm getting different artists in Springfield. I'm bringing in Gobi System. They'll be coming down and talking to the young artists that participate. They'll be bringing down young artists that are Senegalese American and who've experienced both cultures. So that's happening. Um, and before I go, want to remind people to submit your events so that we can help promote your events. Um, Hip Hop Congress is appreciated worldwide. Um, so one way to build up your presence as an individual is to help Hip Hop Congress help you. And part of that way is to submit your events. And Hip Hop Congress made it very easy for you to do. I don't see how we can make it much more easier than that. And so I want to encourage you all to submit your events, whether they're small, whether they're large. A small event looks bigger when it's on a bigger platform, even if 5 people shows up. Um, and so I want to encourage everyone to submit your events so we can get them in the newsletter. Um, yeah, that, and there was one more thing, but I can't remember it. But yeah, we're doing really good work, and we're going to continue to do good work. If you want to be interviewed on our radio station, PorticRecoveryRadio.com, let me know. Contact me. You can send the email to PorticRecoveryRadio@gmail.com. Um, and the social media continues to grow. PorticRecovery.us. Connecting with the artists in Senegal and throughout the world. It's people know that we need healing, and after 30 years of telling people that yeah, we can use hip hop, we can use culture to encourage healing, from systemic, domestic, and social trauma. Um, I think people starting to like really see that like yeah, it's possible. That someone with a little bit of healing can help someone get a little bit of healing and get more healing, and so that's what we're working with. So yeah, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? I know we all want to, get wealthy and do our own individual thing, but that model serves a capitalist purpose and individual who already have a lot of money. But when we don't have a lot of money, we need to work together to build this up. So submit your events, let us get it out there, and let us work together. Hip Hop Congress, peace. Um, I don't know who's next.
Who has not spoken yet? Tristan's back, and we got Marquez. Thanks for that update, Maurice. Yeah, so HHCU is where you can post your events. Maurice, I'm actually doing that right now. Maurice will, when we get the newsletter. By the way, thank you, Maurice. Shout out to Maurice for being on top of the newsletter these past few weeks. I mentioned before you got on here that we're transferring over to Mailchimp, and it should be really good. But you've been really instrumental in helping us get uh, our newsletter and email list back in action. So Tristan Marquez, Tristan might have done his check in. I don't think Marquez. Smiley day. And then Honor, we can also go back to you too, since Tristan is in the room.
Molly Day, God Rising Afternoon. So I'm gonna start with this for everybody yesterday, and then I'm gonna give you out today's devotional. Something good. Darling, you're about to bloom. You're ready to burst forth with the new anointing and authority in my Holy Spirit, unlike anything you've ever experienced in the past. Wisdom and joy now gush from your innermost being. Like a spring bursting forth after a long gray winter. Sunlight illuminates your way. Be confident and brave. This is just the beginning. Our response to him. Lord, I feel that something good is coming. I'm a bud about to bloom. I'm a bud about to bloom. I'm a bud about to bloom. I feel ready to burst out with the new anointing and authority in your Holy Spirit, unlike anything I've ever experienced in the past. Thank you for your wisdom and joy that gushes from my innermost being, like a spring exploding into the still, gray atmosphere after a long, dull winter. Your light illuminates my way, and I'm feeling very brave because I know I'm on the cusp of a beautiful new beginning. And he says in the prayer, Acts 1 4 through 3 and 8, do not have Jerusalem until the Father sends you the gift he promised, as I told you before. John baptized with water, but in just a few days you will be baptized with the Holy Spirit. But you receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you. But you receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you. And you will be my witness, telling people about me everywhere in Jerusalem, throughout Judea and Samaria and the ends of the earth. And today it says, channel of blessings. You are a channel of blessings for me. And there's no limit to what I can do through you. Therefore, impose no restrictions or boundaries on my purposes or abilities. Don't for a minute doubt what I can do in your life. I made all grace abound to you, so you have sufficient means in everything. I give you to do, you lack nothing. I adorn you with beautiful gifts and talents to help you fulfill your magnificent purpose on earth. Understand that in me, nothing can stop you. Understand that in me, nothing can stop you. And it says, we say to him, thank you, Jesus, for making me a channel of blessings. I know there is no limit to what I can do through you, and therefore I won't impose restrictions or boundaries on what's possible. I won't for a minute doubt what you can do through my life and through me. You make all grace abound, so I have sufficient means to fulfill everything you give me to do. I lack nothing. I lack nothing. You've equipped me with beautiful gifts and talents to help me live and accomplish my purpose on earth. Thank you, Jesus, because with your Holy Spirit guiding me, nothing can stop me from fulfilling all that you have called me to do and be. We are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good work with good God prepared in advance for us to do. Ephesians 2:10. So know that you are what it says. Keep doing what you're doing because you chose to do it because he gave you ability to accept your purpose once you heard what he asked you to do. So love your life, live in faith. That's life every day, LIFE, and just be joyous about your existence. That's what Smiley Day represents, folks. In case you never really heard it, Smiley Day is a representation of yourself, celebration of your existence. Smiley Day is a smiley way of celebrating yourself. That being said, I hope everybody's having a smiley day today because you've been gifted with life again today. He reached down and touched you and said, rise again. Just after Resurrection Day last weekend, you rise again like he rose for us to have free world and life. So be joyous about your existence. Each day, smile. The world is shitty. Life is hard. But guess what? He made you harder than life and this world. So with that being said, stay resilient. Keep your armor sharp and shined up and on tight. And know that you got this mission that you chose to walk in because he won't give you nothing to fail in. And with that being said, be joyous and blessed that you live. Smiley day. I'm celebrating life again like I do every day. Today's the 11th. In 5 more days, I'll be celebrating 10 years of cancer freedom, beating two cancers at once. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and CLL leukemia. Will be dancing on the devil's head on the 16th and smiling with joy because I was double diagnosed, but I'm double diagnosed. And so that's one of my smiley day purposes. And then 4 days after that is the greatest celebration of all, besides my original life day. It will be my second life day of gift of life from God, April 20th, 1990. I laid on the ground, leaking blood out my back like a geyser in a puddle of blood, shot 14 times on the side of my mother's bedroom window, but never worried about dying because he told me that I had a abundant life coming because I left the gun on the floor and I trusted him to be my savior. And he saved my life that night. And I now know all of you. The gift of life is a blessing from God. I'm living proof of that as I go into my 36th year on April 20th to be able to walk and talk. They said I would never walk again. Y'all see me? I walk great. Y'all see me? I'm living and smiling, blessing other people with the gift of life of God's love. So if you don't know he's real, you can't help but know he's real now because I'm his living zeal and I'm his warrior. Through righteousness, I represent him in my fight. And my middle name, Janae, means a strong warrior, a defender of mankind. So you guys that don't have a voice, I speak for you because I'm the voice for the voiceless with no fear of any man out here in this world. If God said nothing shall be able to touch me but he. So if you have already accepted him in your life, know that that acceptance gave you abundant life for whatever the time he calls you to come home. So your reason here today is the reason he gifted you and the purpose you asked him that you would fulfill in your service of this life. So each day from now on, smile, even when attacked, even when character assassinated, discriminated, because these are the things that it says will be happening because you chose the mantle of righteousness and to represent good over evil and darkness, light over dark. So keep being the spark of light in everybody's life that you encounter, close and afar, family and friends, because we are the bridge to ending the ugly world. And keep being great. Still dealing with bullshit in the building, getting ready to take action and steal on people. We just gotta no more talk to people, no more talking to corporations, folks. They don't respect us. They hear us when we speak the laws and statutes that are righteous, but they don't want to do right because they don't think they have to, because they've gotten away for decades for ripping us off. So everybody start calling consumer affairs and the channels that protect our rights and get free money. Smallclaims.gov. And you file those claims on these entities that are breaking the law, and you know the laws that they're doing, file a claim. Even if you get $500 as a minimum, that's free money for standing up for your rights. 12.5 is the max. That's free money for standing up for your rights. So imagine if you put in 10 claims for the year or 12 claims for the year and get five on every one of those claims or 12.5 on every one of those claims. It's a new beginning of generational wealth, my people. So we're at war with every entity that doesn't respect us. Put your suit on and get active. Fight for your rights and fight the powers that be. That's what we're doing. Hip Hop Congress and everybody that's affiliated with this. Now we gotta take it to another level. Because they stealing everything. So fight the powers that be. Chuck D said the best, fight the power. That being said, I'm just being joyous. I'm not quitting the fight. We got a lot going in this building. I got a lot of baby kids. I'm figuring out different ways to still in channel with them and not turn my back on them because they just really, man, we got kids talking to grown-ups like they grown as hell. Want to smack their heads off, but, not doing what was done to us. But keep this building, West Carson Village, everybody lifted up in prayer. There's a lot of mental challenged people in here, and the services of the program is not being fulfilled properly. So that's what I'm fighting about right now. And hopefully, God bless me when I finish suing this owner that maybe I own this building and they can make the shit better. So that's what I'm doing. Celebrating life. You ready to check out some Augustus and the Masters and tap in that UFC fight tonight, folks. Yeah, who's gonna win that? The Australian or the Polish man? I don't know. But y'all don't know it's going down tonight and get your entertainment in and have fun. You out there in a good
All right.
environment. Go enjoy the sun, smile amongst people, give out love, be joyous, and be the great entity of God's essence that He made you while you even doing what you're doing. I love y'all. Keep being great. Remember, you're fucking awesome. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different. Smiley
Thanks,
day.
Marquez.
I don't know who else is on the deck,
We got
but I'm
one
passing to
more.
whoever else.
We got one more. That's Honor. We got Tristan who can translate. So why don't we get that?
All right. Well, we passing it to Honor in honor of Hip Hop Congress.
Mhm.
oya erega wari kumukubita tukabyumva.
Tristan, can you translate for us, please? Tristan, are you there? You go.
Can you
Thank you.
repeat, please? Vous pouvez répéter, s'il vous plaît? Je vais traduire.
Go ahead, Honor.
Oui, pour honorer amigo na répéter.
J'ai demandé la parole, c'était par erreur, j'étais un peu distrait, quoi. Merci.
Frustré. Yeah, it was just a mistake. He didn't want to talk.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's circle back around to this conversation that was brought up at the top around collaborations and just navigating relationships. Kind of speaking on what Mike was talking about, and then also this language of money. I had actually a revelation from somebody that I started following, who is from SAC actually, incredible mathematician, member of the trans community. She goes by B Davis. If you're on Facebook, it's an interesting profile to follow. I follow her for the content that she puts out around math. And one of the ones that she did, she basically said like, I she 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 connected the she basically mathematically proved that zero is not a real number in nature, and how the theorems that govern machine learning are the same is the same theorem that a lot of our physics is based off of, and basically that in a vacuum, which is the lowest bound of matter, we say there's nothing, but there's never nothing. It's never zero. It's just things haven't connected yet. And if you look at math from a connectivity perspective, then it completely changes like all of our. It's almost like a paradigm shift of going from, the earth is flat, earth is round, only this is more of in a universal sense because we don't understand the topography of the universe. So we're basically operating all of our physics and on our math from this framework where zero is a number. So I was like, what? Like, what can we do with this? But it's really more what can't we do when we operate under the old system. So and the connection to machine learning kind of like goes into like this whole thing of like, okay, we're living in a binary system, but anyways, it gets deep. But when we talk about the language of what were you saying? The language of wealth and economy, it's all the same thing, and it connects back to, if our math follows this framework of zero being an actual thing, that's like the baseline that we all start from. It affects how we look at economics, it affects how we look at physics and all of these things. But we are also like if you look at the universe as a living organism, that's kind of the work that we're doing. So there really is no zero in the if we look at ourselves as like, it's like the number of connections, right? Zero is just you haven't connected yet, but once you start connecting, then you have matter or things that matter. So it is relative in my mind to what we were talking about is like we got to get to a point where we're reconnecting our missions. We're reconnecting these organizations and getting organizations to see outside of this their framework of like, I'm doing my mission by myself. It's like, and I'm struggling. There's uncertainty. There's scarcity because it's just, you know, my mission trying against the world kind of thing. And it's like, nah, like, what if the reality is that there's a reality that where that world is connecting to? And I think that's what Hip Hop Congress is at its core. So it's funny and interesting to me that what you described, exactly experiencing that, trying to build a partnership with a neighborhood organization, and they can't see the benefit of working together, and they just don't even, it's like they don't even have the bandwidth to carry on the conversation. They drop conversations, and then you circle back around, and then they're like, oh, well, we didn't cancel it. And you're like, who said anything about canceling it? You just did. uh, but and then, thank you, Chevelle, for sort of giving that perspective of these funders looking for these coalitions, because I think that really informs the conversations that I know I'll be having when I go into these rooms with these funders and meeting them for the first time. Because part of my frustration has been trying to convey the depth and the why of the work that we do to somebody who doesn't have any of the direct experience or impact from it. Like, they've never shown up to see what we do. They're just reading, they're looking at videos and they're reading words, without that real direct experience. And so that's another barrier that we have to, that relationship is establishing those relationships. So those who don't have the context of the importance of it, because it's like, you can talk to another person who has the experience of hip hop, and it's like, you don't even got to explain nothing. It's already there. So um, that's my thought on that. I just wanted to share, and it's open for anybody that wants to add, chime in.
Yeah, real quick, Chevelle here from Detroit. I'll just chime in real quick, real briefly. I don't want to take a lot of time. I know everybody has stuff to get doing. I actually have to take off here in a second myself, but just around that conversation of collaboration, I worked with a group called Youthville Detroit, and that organization was a nonprofit that had a full youth development center. There was, beat making labs, DJing stuff in there. I ran the digital media technology department where we had like newscasts, and we ran a television studio and things of that nature. So it was a dynamic program. But after a while, the funding started to dry up a bit for that organization. So part of the mission after that going forward was to collaborate with local nonprofits that were in our area, that were like-minded, doing some similar things. And the funders came to us and said, we're going to open up a ton of micro grants for you, but the part of the requirement for the micro grant is it has to include some sort of collaboration, some sort of synergy between two or more organizations. So I would collaborate the digital media department with the Detroit PAL, which is our police athletic league, and we do programming around that, make public service announcements around some of those, around anti-bullying and drug use or gambling and stuff, whatever it was. We were able to create funding around those things based upon those collaborations. So it's not just me talking about the collaborations as being an it thing for funders. It's something I've actually experienced firsthand. So I just wanted to chime in with that.
100%. Anyone else? I do believe that it is the new economy moving forward, and the fact that we're doing that across intercontinentally and everything, with the folks that come to these calls, connecting us to each other, connecting these communities. When we get the funders to really see that we're not just connecting locally, but we're connecting internationally, I believe that's part of the critical mass that we're just on the other side of. Does anybody else have anything to add? Circling back around, we got Deanick.
I'm
Deanick's in the
chilling.
house, hasn't checked in yet, but go ahead. Who's that? Anita?
No. Um, so with that, one, Chevelle, that just jogged my memory about how I know you because I remember learning about that program. And I think I took a tour. Because I'm from Cleveland. Anyways,
Oh wow, small world.
I know, right? Like you said, then I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. So hello again. The other part of this is us as an organization. It's the way that we are creating our network. I think the larger battle um, that we face is that you have these other organizations like especially ones towards health and the health health focused, but they're also culturally focused organizations that have had a tie to these monies for decades. So like what you're doing, Ramen, going after um you know or companies that may not have sought after cultural support before is something that I think we obviously lend to and lean into, and it's culture preservation. And a lot of times I think that when we're doing these collaborations, people don't directly correlate the two things, but that's really what it is, as opposed to just simply something singularly about this one thing. It's about all the things, and I think that health is a part of that culture, because it's the culture. It's not just the culture of our health, but being culture is our health. But then you're going up against like Red Cross and like GLAD and all these other entities that are a lot larger. And it's being able to also have that opportunity. So when we are coming together on our own outside of that, it really does proof and put the proof into the pudding, if you will, that we are capable of making just as big of an impact without having to compromise ourselves or our programs. So I wanted to share that piece. And then, D Nick, you want to give your check in?
Blessings. I just, just really didn't have much to add. I just wanted to, listen and go in and preparing for the Midwest Gaming Classic that's happening this month out in Milwaukee. So just getting ready for that. Any Milwaukee heads, please, you know, come through, and it's gonna be a nice event, and yeah, just receive that, and just here to listen. I won't take up too much time. Blessings to all.
Okay,
Who's next?
pick that back up. Anybody else
I'm
want to
sorry.
chime?
Yeah, I didn't know if I thought everybody was done the way it sounded. I didn't know I could pass it. Who's left to pass it to?
I think everyone check in, but
Oh
the
yeah,
conversation.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ron.
Okay, well, yeah, we was on a call, experience that and sort of the framework that different potential partnerships have that hip hop, like, as a network organization, it's part of our mission to connect people, but we're also in this sort of nonprofit industrial complex, or just the economy of capitalism, that makes a lot of these nonprofit leaders not see their value as part of that collective, or not see the value of connecting with an organization like us. And basically, that balance of, cooperative economics versus competitive economics, especially when you got groups with similar missions or similar markets going after the same funding sources, and coming up against different, even just relationship challenges on um, how to broaden that framework so that the abundance becomes possible with the collaboration. And so Mike was expressing challenges around that. I just had an experience with a organization this last week that was exactly that. Um, so that was kind of the topic. And I think, yeah, that was what we were talking about. So if you have anything to add to that, feel free. Um,
I guess my
Go ahead.
I guess I guess my question would be for any particular, you know, funding or collaborations that we're trying to foster. And I know people don't like this type of corporatocracy, capitalist language. But it is what it is at this point. What leverage and service? What service do we have to leverage to these people or these entities that we want to collaborate with? Because I think they only most places only understand what do you have to offer me, as a thing. So would that be a good strategy or technique to kind of like think of what tangibles do we have to offer these collaborations, or is that like too much for everybody?
Well, if I don't mind, you don't mind me interjecting real quick, D Nick. Uh,
Please, please.
Pleasure, brother. Pleasure, brother. Uh, in the experience I had back with Youthville, Detroit, part of what we did when we would meet together as a coalition is to kind of round robin about what the needs are in the room, right? If you had a project upcoming, what were the needs that you had at that for that project? And there are usually somebody in that room that can help you fill that need, and that's where the kind of collaboration first kind of started to foster. You follow what I'm saying? So, I think that will be something going forward for each chapter to probably try to really figure out or hang their hat on, as really identify and hone in on where your um, your skill sets or the collaboration stuff what you bring to the table can be something that you can kind of offer as on your front of your webpage, or something that you can kind of hang your hat on, so to speak. So that those are things that, okay, the Detroit chapter is in need of international publicity, that maybe your organization has, your chapter has that ability to network internationally. That might be something that we can collaborate. We may have that need. Your chapter may need media services, where you need production stuff or whatever it is. So it's just finding out what those chapters can do individual as individual entities, and then being able to use that as points of collaboration with one another. If that answers the question, I'm not sure if that even answers the question.
No, I was more. It does. So, in a roundabout way, and I feel like I've met you before, brother. I feel like we met through Maya Crown. God bless the dead, Williams. But like you seem so familiar. But
You say
yeah,
the name one more time for me. You said Maya.
Maya Crown Williams.
Hmm. The name sounds familiar. I'm not sure if I.
She did MechaCon, in Detroit. She
Not sure
was
if I. I'm not sure if
she
I.
was a
I may know.
collaborator.
I
Yeah,
may
she was a
know him, but not sure.
collaborator with Andre Batts. Yeah,
Okay, I do know Andre though.
yeah, that's my brother.
In passing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so it's about getting into those rooms, like to see, because what you said, like that's the thing. So it's where are there these rooms, or is this just about a hip hop Congress collaboration type of thing, with us collaborating with other chapters, or is it just us collaborating with other nonprofits and funders?
I think it's a
So I
little bit of
can,
both. I think it's a little bit of both. I think we look stronger as an entity if we come to them with that collaboration already in our midst, right? We're working with other chapters to kind of bring full visions to the forefront, and then you can approach your those funding engines, because everybody has those in their town, right? In
yeah,
our town, it's like Skillman Foundation and Kellogg Foundation and Kretzky Foundation, and there's just a ton of them. Even like the Divine Nine and the Black Greek stuff, they have. My fraternity has a ton of philanthropic arms to it. There's a Kappa Detroit Foundation. There's a guide right program for helping young people out. So there's just all these different entities that all have a nonprofit leg to them, and some of them are grantors. Some of them actually have grants available. So,
Unbelievable.
and what I'm thinking a lot of times,
You did. Just
what we
unbelievable.
do is we go after the giant, big time, NBA cares, which is all cool and that's great stuff. But there's a ton of micro grants and stuff out there that are available that can help us accomplish some of these goals. right? So if the goal is to get so many people fed in a certain area, then let's talk to the local chapter of the NAACP and what grants they offer. Let's talk to those chapters of the deltas in your area, or the what have you, or even the JCs, or the Masons in your area. There's tons of grant dollars that are available on those micro grant levels that I think we can really go after to help some of these initiatives get met. And again, starting with that collaboration with us internally can help us kind of just have that look of, we're together. We got all the bases covered. Because if we got all the bases covered internally, what we need to get done, then there's almost no reason to turn us down for those stuff, because they can see that the work is going to be done, right? And that's ultimately what a lot of these agencies and organizations are about. The funders are about. They want to see the work get done. They have missions that they're philanthropic missions. They want to see 2,000 kids or 10,000 kids in that area be fed or be trained or reduce prison recidivism. I can't say that word for anything. Recidivism, right? To reduce that kind of stuff, or just to help with the seniors in your area who don't have companions or people to help them with things, or So there's tons of that work that can be done with the hip hop as an umbrella, because it's the culture that we're trying to preserve. And I was so glad to hear Anita say that earlier. This preservation of the culture, it's got to be a real thing. Right now, as a genre, hip hop is starting to wane. We're not even seeing hip hop and rap music or even that popular culture. We're kind of being ousted from the popular culture by to me, it's a right wing thing that's doing it, but I won't get political on here. But there's a big push not to have, our culture be forefront, right? The reason they're ticked off at Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl is because they want to push another narrative, what I mean? Which is fine, push their own narrative, but we have to be responsible for making sure our narrative stays alive and kicking, if you follow what I'm trying to say.
1,000%. Well said.
Peace. Um, yeah, so there's a lot to be said, and I think it's a great topic. Part of, the work that we've done from the beginning, like my organization's official company name is Chosen Networks. And it was networking with local organizations and groups and individuals. And one of the first things we did in relation to DNA expression is teaching them what to identify in each of their groups what it is they can actually offer their community on all different levels. Like starting with the members in the group, like what do you know how to do? All right, let's start putting a list together. This is what we can offer in exchange for our services. And then with that, with the collaboration with other groups and organizations, it made it a lot easier to get funding or sponsorship, especially when we're showing that we're reaching a demographic that they want to reach or they want to be connected with. So there's lots of ways that, especially with collaborating with other organizations that may already have access to some fundings, is going to help them if they show a joint venture or opportunity like that with another major national organization to collaborate on certain events or showcases. And again, with access to social media and even platforms like this, we can do online concerts and events that are national and international. And that can get sponsored, the events itself, things like that. So there's lots of ways that if we really start to pool our efforts, that we can start to become a platform and a center stage and a model that can be duplicated for others on how we can start to really capitalize on this networking and collaborating with different groups and organizations. It's been our model from the beginning, from day one, is how we connected with the Hip Hop Congress. And I want to say but most of the groups that we get with that we validate and we see they're doing good work, we add them on a page on our website for resources, so that way people can find out about all these great organizations doing this powerful work. And for me, that's just the beginning. I know I put most of these organizations out on platforms and in meetings and where we're discussing, and I'm shouting them out and I'm letting people know, hey, there may be a Congress chapter in your area. These are the ways that we start just at the beginning, promoting and marketing each other. And I leave it there.
So I like,
A lot of what you. Oh yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say I really love the way this conversation is going. One, we used to do this without the, well, not to say without the internet, but we we had minutes back then, you guys. So we used to do this. But the way that we're coming together now, and I completely agree because, and I know Ramen, you do this too. We go around and we network so much. Um, Networking, collaborating, getting people involved, getting people to know the name of our organization and who we are, and also who you guys are. That's often what I do when I'm going around and traveling to these different events. Going to see D Nick, Prism. Hey, D Nick coming here. That was huge. Artemis. He has an event today actually with his band. That's why he's not on the call. Um, but yeah, like having you guys, one, a place for us to go and visit, but also to see where you are and to actually show that we are collaborating, like traveling to each other, seeing one another, connecting with one another, beyond just our weekly meetings is really where we build. That's how we build, and that is how we grow. Um, because it's not just enough for us to say like, yeah, in these meetings we are down for each other, we all have our own little silos, but we come back together. Not only do we check in organization wise, we check in personally, which is what a lot of organizations don't do because they are more corporate in their mindset, like the personal doesn't necessarily matter, and this is where we are community, as opposed to just simply corporate networking. And in doing so, when we're out here doing, we're making these connections, um, building our name is also building the community. So I want to make sure that we understand that, and that is something that you take into these meetings when you're going to them. And that includes working with one another. Uh, that's one of the biggest things. That's why, like Chevelle and D-Neck, I shouted y'all out in the comment section because, you know, Detroit and Chicago are what, maybe 6 hours? I don't even know if it's 6 hours apart, but you're close enough to have that collaboration and start to build that fabric and reestablish that fabric. And I know D Nick, you remember back in the day, everybody went to Detroit. Um, so to really help those collaborations grow and to show others, Prism, to your point, putting it down and creating a, maybe we can create a map on how it goes for us so that we can help other organizations that are smaller or trying to do what we do, especially because we are an international organization. It's not just about one singular entity, but all of us. So I just wanted to put that piece out there. And Raman, you were about to say something?
Oh yeah. I mean, everything that you're saying, everything that other folks are saying, like you said, has been, we've been talking around the strategies on how to do these things efficiently, effectively. To Chevelle's point, if we put these things into place internally, we set the standard for external partnerships to join us, and it's it just it builds from there. I'm a big believer in no shortcuts. It's relationships. Take care of the relationships. To your point, Anita, like we're all human beings, and we can't forget that. Shared in the chat also too something called the Hip Hop Congress Coopoly, which is basically the same that folks have been talking about. Is like it's actually comes from one of our leader from San Francisco, Carlos Lavexier, who's actually a wrestling coach at my dojo. He was born in the era. He grew up in doing the free breakfast programs and the Black Panthers and everything. And one of the questions they used to pose to the kids was, when this system that only serves, when this system that doesn't serve you falls, and it will, what's going to take its place? Like who you gonna depend on? And the answer is, ourselves. And so he created this idea called the Coopoly, which is basically a survey that you do, and you assess. It's 12 areas of concentrated need, ranging from food, clothing, shelter, labor, capital, land. Oh shit, sorry about that. Um, but you basically rank them in order of your level of either experience, expertise, access. Um, sorry. and then you create cohorts based off of who has access to what. So when the question is uh, asked, what do you bring to the table? Oh, I have, these things that I bring to the table. What do you need? Well, these are my lowest ranking areas of need. And when you have all of these areas of need accounted for, then you have the foundation of a community that can thrive and sustain itself. And so, that's a tool that if folks can use for those questions. Um, Kind of wanted to circle. I see. I don't know if Lisa, you had anything to add. I definitely want to circle back to Mike and see where your if this conversation is relating to your experience. Um, because you've been doing amazing things out in Denver and just holding it down and for so long in Hip Hop Congress. Um, but Lisa, did you have something to add? Because your box is green
Oh, my
on my
box is
phone.
green. The box is green because I'm still here.
Okay.
My box is green because I'm still here. Well, in terms of adding what's been going on, um, I mean, what we're seeing is essentially what happens quite a bit when groups are becoming hostile within their borders. A lot of activities that people enjoy, whether on the stage or on the screen, start getting cut back. Um, and we saw this last when Obama was president. There was a huge loss of venues for small artists all over the place. I mean, not just clubs, but the small theaters, independent movie houses, um, small art boutiques and studios, places where they had open mic, places where, well, there was salsa dancing. There were like a half a dozen clubs here in the city that people could go to. But all of a sudden, it seemed like every single one of them was having their floors literally sold out from underneath them. It was a rash of all that stuff going on. And that was one of the first clues that I had that what I had passed off as a thought in 1997 was actually happening. That they were starting to pull back on cultural activities in a major way and doing it very quietly. Um, and that it's part of the war that the wealthy has on the rest of us to take away our enjoyment of the actual things that are part of our cultural identity. And of course, when those things disappear or are put out of reach, what happens is people become more hostile because they don't get that release. Where it's the weekly class that they go and take, or the fun things they like to do with their kids on a specific day. Um, that's what I've been watching going on. And as other things have pulled back, what I've seen with cultures of all kinds, and especially dance cultures, is we've been forced to hide more um, in so many ways. And we got to go the other direction. If anything, we need to be out there all the damn time, going on and on about how important what it is that we devote ourselves to is to understanding and peace of all mankind. So, but instead, we're getting shoved into tighter and tighter circles or tighter and tighter spaces. And the news about us just does not get out. It gets overwhelmed by what else is going on in the papers and on the screens. And I see so much about Donald Trump that I just want to go, can I turn it all off? But no, I can't. It's a process that they planned. The John Birch Society many, many years ago after the Second World War. So here we are. They're actually getting what they want, and they're going to keep pushing until they get the whole thing coming down. Um, As far as the rest, I want to say how much I appreciate what comes on through this medium, this format, because what we're finding out more and more that regardless of the economic situation, the political and motivational areas are very much the same, no matter who we're talking to, what country they're in. And to me, that just points more and more to this is what we're all now seeing. That Anita talks about it, Raquan talks about it, and it's like now you're seeing all those trends coming forward. That looming shadow type of thing that we're joining up to fight against. And I think we're doing a really good job, to tell you the truth. But here, probably within the next year or two, we're going to be joining with several larger groups that are all going to be moving in the same direction. And I think that's a very good thing. So, and can I say how it's going to go? No, I don't. I can talk about some of the hallmarks, but then I'd have to tell you when. And I don't know the when because I'm not in charge here. None of us here is. So let me see who I want to pass this thing to as far as.
We're not necessarily going to pass the mic format right now. Just
Okay.
kind of popcorning it. But
Well,
I did
well, that
want to
was,
see circle back to if
yeah.
we can start our checkouts if you want. Anybody else? And we also actually haven't heard from Darren actually who just popped in. So for context, we've just been talking about the nature of collaboration in today's environment and challenges that pop up from that, particularly, as the political world and how folks are also adjusting to that and what's showing up in our relationships and missions and all of that. So, um, yeah, if you want to speak on that, and then if anybody the honors hand being raised, I don't know if that's for, uh, but we can do a few more comments, or we can start our checkouts. What are folks feeling? I know some folks got to go, so I don't want to belabor the conversation. We can keep it efficient, and everybody can get their last thoughts in, unless there's a question that anybody wants to pose to the group.
Yeah, last thoughts and checkout.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I always get to the conversations late due to the time constraints on my end, but I can give a comment and closing. I can open and close at the same time. So I'm saying that's cool. You want to do it? We could do it like that.
Okay, for sure. And then you can pick whoever you want because you're first.
Okay. All right. So I'll stick to the topic because you said you were talking about you was talking about collaborate. Give me say it over again for me.
Yeah, it's kind of like the nature of collaboration between different at the organizational level, different nonprofits. Working with different partnerships, either in your locality, and sort of the nature of some people not understanding the cooperative equals abundance model because they're still
Mhm.
kind of locked in a competitive scarcity model of like kind of going after funding sources and sort of that sort of thing, um, and and variations of that, but that's in general is kind of what some of the experience has been, and people not knowing their value as partnerships, either unto themselves or partnering with um, a network like Hip Hop Congress.
Oh, okay. I would definitely say collaborations is the way to go. That is one of the chief things I can tell you that is one of the me being into content creation, that is one of the chief things that you must do to grow and get your material exposed further out into the world, because, like from where we're at, you know, the battle between commercialization and progressive underground. That's the thing, because Lisa was saying, like, we get drowned out a lot because you know the headlining news, they program whatever headlining news they want the public to hear. And on the level of hip hop, like, okay, like today, there's a lot of events going on today that I'm trying to catch up with, because for one, like, part of my content creation is kind of highlighting all the different events in the city, and two, they're progress, and like I said, they're not the type of imagery that you normally see associated with hip hop coming out of Atlanta. So most of the time, you're hearing the examples of the Pooh Shiesties and Gucci Man and Thugger and situations like that, the commercialization of it. But there are a lot of underground, like the underground community, the progressive community, the real hip hop is very much alive here. Like one of the events here, you're gonna have Diamond D um, showcasing an event here, and you have some brothers that's doing a DJ session, and they're using vinyl. And later on, they have another, and then they have another vinyl event where they're using nothing but 45s, it's a straight 45 thing. So that's utilizing the culture as it should be. But those type of instances don't always get put out to the world, or those aren't the events that necessarily go viral. You see what I'm saying? So if they so the collaborations, if you have, like say with Congress, where we're all connected, globally, and if we're able to show, what I'm saying, at least our people on our level, because there might be people that's not aware of that. People be like, oh man, I didn't know those kind of things were happening in Atlanta, or period for that matter, So that's definitely a big plus that has to be collaborations is definitely a good is definitely a good thing with this I'm like just overall in general, even with us, just even with us in particular, because everybody's in their different city, everybody's in their different region, and I would love to be in a position, like I'm working on being in a position to where I can be more supportive of just things that we're all involved in personally, because I know um, Anita goes to different events like national, like she's always traveling. Like every time, oh, I'm getting ready to go here. I'm like, oh wow, and I'm just like, and I'm impressed because it's like it'll be somewhere that you don't even know that that type of thing is going on. Like I remember her talking about. I just remember her talking about an event like that was going on in Denver, and I was like, and that really aroused my curiosity, because I didn't know, even though like I'm just uh, curious to know that that type of thing is going on like that in those, because I haven't traveled much. I don't get to travel much outside the East Coast, so you like to see different things, what I'm saying, on the other sides of town, and that is definitely inspirational, and it gives you purpose to want to have something going on in your particular city or whatever. So that's definitely yeah, I'm definitely in agreement with that. I'm willing to, like say, I guess I missed the earlier part of the conversation where I guess where people were, talking about how can we work on that and make that more of an unattainable goal. But
Yo, and that's deep, and that's deep. This is Mike Word. I'm gonna slide in real quick. Forgive me for interrupting you,
I was
but
gonna
I'm
suggest a few
I'm the
topics.
brother in Denver that Anita was coming and funking with. That's doing events, and this is what I was gonna let everybody else talk, but and it's been a few people that had me wanting to come and interject again, but I just been sitting back in the cut, just listening. You know what I'm saying? But it's events. To me, all this shit is organized around events for giving people opportunity to come together in the physical space. Cause and then the events we doing that I'm doing happen to be like, all right, I got ulterior motives to plant seeds in people's heads on how that they can live without the systems that we're currently have been used to being dependent on, right? So we create our own systems that we're able to be relying on and create resiliency in surviving and thriving in community despite these bigger systems going in turmoil or even turning on us like so often is be the case. So and I'm using events, we using coming together and celebrating through the culture and the arts and all that as kind of like a Trojan horse, to be real with you. You feel me? And
right.
so
Mhm.
and so we're like, all right, I'm saying, but it's still cultural events. I'm a hip hop dude, man. I'm in my mid 40s. I've been on some hip hop shit since I was a kid. I don't have people talking about what you got to sell to them and all that. Yeah, I got all that shit on lock, nigga. You know what I mean? Like we the coldest, and that's not on some ego stuff or nothing. That's on some put in work, been cross pollinating culturally with other communities in America and beyond for decades. Just myself, let alone all the other people in this room and in our movements, our cultural movements. So you know what I'm saying? It's like, we got a lot of value to 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 collaborate with other people. And I got sponsorship shit I could do with corporations. We got just being on the cultural stuff. Like, yeah, we running the turntables and records, and we got dancers at the events, and we got a marketplace, and we got graffiti writers, and we got a healing lounge. We doing all these things that cross pollinate, bringing the health food stores have to be at the marketplace to promote and just these little things. And I'm saying it's like it's other event promoters, it's other people doing events. They events might not be so broad in the vision of it, but it still hits the niche of the cultural stuff that we doing, with music and with art and I know a lot of people in the Denver community doing that stuff, and it's interesting to how it's challenging to get cooperation from them to well, let's bring all these forces together. I know a lot of incredible music artists and musicians. There's a musician community. All these cats that know D'Angelo, they know they love all our shit. But then it like come to fucking with the nigga that's really doing that shit. Like and been a part of this culture and this community where that D'Angelo and all these brothers come from, and says Erica Badu and all these people come from, and it's like you got them people in your own backyard been here, and you act like it's like it gets a little different. It's like there's less um camaraderie, and I'm like, I'm moving through those spaces with less cooperation from those communities to make these events really catch steam. You know what I'm saying? And that's been my challenge here. But I've also seen that challenge in Hip Hop Congress throughout, not just recently that Rahman's been dealing with, but like before that. And it's just like, all right, what are we doing? What I'm gonna keep doing these things. Like I'm gonna keep doing events, but it's not like I'm doing it just to do the event on my own. Like I'm I already established my vision is broad, so it's community based already. I lose money doing events. I didn't even want to do events necessarily. A couple years ago, I got kind of finagled into, curating events again. And it's like, all right, so here we go. And that's my only concern because, if I'm gonna do events, it's a bigger thing. Like I need in them, Hip Hop Congress fucking with me because I've been fucking with them we just grew up together. We all grew up together from being teenagers. Basically, I was 18 or 19 years old probably when I came across the community that's Hip Hop Congress. So, it's like, hey, how do we get these younger organizations and younger groups and cultural movements in the cities and like that are involved and got attraction to things that we laid down foundation in our big brothers and sisters and older cousins and uncles and aunts and moms and mothers and fathers and beyond laid down foundation for.
It's
And
definitely
how do we do that? Like, how do we get them that
it's
cooperation?
it's definitely a challenge, as you say. You definitely deal with that here in Atlanta. Like I know Atlanta, there could be a lot of collaborations. I'm talking outside of the Congress. There could be a lot of collaborations where people can come together and make the things bigger. But in this world of capitalism and you know trying to organize and lock down